Dark Fringe Radio, your premier source for the paranormal, conspiracy theory and true crime.
Coming to you live from the Mistopheles Studios, it's Dark Fringe Radio.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
The disease, and I'm the cure. That is power.
Hey guys, welcome. Another edition of Dark Fringe Radio. I'm your host, Will Martinez, here with you guys tonight, and another special episode here, Jay. Of course, here with me tonight, of course, as always, Jay Glosey. How are you? What's going on, brother?
Fantastic.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. So listen, tonight, episode 105, we're going to be talking about Zozo and a little bit of an ominous figure in the last 20 years of our existence, but there is some historical significance to this individual creature or demon or whatever you want to call it. We'll be getting into that here in a little bit, divulging a lot more information about that. So stick around. But just to start you guys off for tonight, how you can listen to the podcast, real simple. Just go to our website, darkfringeradio.com. Make sure you go there. Check it out. We have a lot of shit there, Jay. I mean, people are just missing out on a lot of articles, a lot of just different, topics that we discuss there on a daily basis. Of course, all our episodes are available there as well. Our latest episode is available at the bottom as a link on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, you can just scroll right down to the bottom of the page and check that out. But once you do that, if you use any of the streaming services, make sure you subscribe and like to our podcast, and we really appreciate that. And if you can, if you are on Facebook, on social media, at Dark Fringe Radio, make sure you go to our page and give us a review. That really helps us out. Really appreciate that. So if you can, help us out on the social media, but we're also available on not only Facebook, but Instagram and on Twitter. Just look up Dark Fringe Radio. So just to get that stuff out of the way, Jay, that's just the intro. I want to make sure everybody knows where to go to get our stuff on a daily basis. I mean, we are all over the place. We're available just pretty much everywhere you can find any podcast. So just make sure you check us out. So besides that, Jay, I wanted to get into Dark Fringe news right away, going hot. And tonight I wanted to bring up a really interesting article. And it's really... it's something that we've kind of seen in a movie before, but it kind of came to real life. The headline goes, "Man killed his daughter's boyfriend for selling her into a sex trafficking ring," police says. So I'm not sure if you've seen this story here,
I did.
Jay. Yeah,
I did.
So very interesting.
In prison, right?
Yes. Well, it happened in Spokane, Washington. So what happened was they found a truck or a vehicle with the remains of a person who had went missing since 2020. That person was 19 years old, ended up having to be the ex-boyfriend of a girl that he supposedly, sold her into a sex trafficking ring. That supposed daughter's father went ahead and sought him out when he found out that supposed dude was in the area again, and dispose of him properly in the woods. Jay. And so now they found his body in the vehicle about a year later, after it's been moved around a couple of times, and people finally found the body in the trunk of the car, a year and a half later, pretty much. So Jay, what's your take on this story? It's a pretty interesting story. I mean, the daughter has been, of course, safe since then. And, she's been safe in her father's custody. But knowing that this guy is coming back into the area, I mean, what would you do in this situation, Jay?
Same.
Right?
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I have lived a great life. If there's anything that it takes to protect my daughter, yeah, I'm good. If I gotta go to prison or whatever it takes, protect my daughter. You kidding me?
Yeah, I get it. The girl's father, John Eisenman, age 60, was charged with first-degree murder and is being held on a $1 million bond. Attorney information was not listed for him. Police said Eisenman learned in October 2020 that his juvenile daughter had been sex trafficked in the Seattle area and quote-unquote obtained information that her boyfriend was responsible for such thing. According to the press release, Eisenman was able to rescue his daughter, number one, and get her back into Spokane that same month, the police said. When the father learned that her daughter's boyfriend was going to be in a location in the Airway Heights, Eisenman drove there and waited for the 19-year-old to arrive. The car, during the encounter, Eisenman abducted the victim, tying him up, placing him in the trunk of the vehicle. Eisenman subsequently assaulted the victim by hitting him in the head with a cinder block and then stabbed him repeatedly, causing his death, the police said. After the homicide, after the homicide, Eisenman drove the vehicle into a remote area in North Spokane County and abandoned the car with the body still inside. The car remained in the remote area until last month, until a person drove it into the Spokane and left it on the East Everett Avenue. The remains were then discovered after people began rummaging through the abandoned vehicle. Amber Hellman said her boyfriend and her friend were working outside and noticed that the car had been left there on the street for a while. They were looking around for some reason and decided to look in the trunk, and all of a sudden they discovered the body. So
yeah, that's why they're snooping around.
yeah, I think they were looking around just to steal something. But nonetheless,
100%.
Yeah, Jay. I mean, nonetheless, I mean, you see a case like this, Jay. A father, 60 years old, pretty much at the end of his life. You know what?
Sounds like
a couple 20-something years left, right?
Skills. Yeah. No, I'm with them. I might be 41, but I've had a hell of a run. If it means my daughter would have the rest of her life to be, to go off, and 100%.
So let me ask you a question. Let's reverse this question here, Jay, and let's play devil's advocate. Let's say you were a juror on the case.
You're the sex trafficker. You're an asshole.
No. Let's say you were a juror on the case here. How about this?
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you stand on this? Like, do you feel like?
Oh, I say he's not guilty.
Yeah. I get you on that. Yeah.
I get the reason why all the laws are there. But let's be real.
Right.
If he'd gone the normal route of justice, there's good chance his daughter would have never been found.
Not only that, even if she was found and he was found, he would have probably got off with just a couple of years and some bullshit he would have done it to some other girl.
Nothing of equal value.
Right.
He that's damage done to his daughter that can never be undone.
Right. Exactly.
That's deep, especially as a father. I know you as a father of a little girl.
Yep.
There's a special little thing there. And Yep.
It's different. It's like, when we have boys, you have a voice as well. And we know that they can take care of themselves, like in a way, you know what I mean? Like, yes, there's somebody out there that probably could take their innocence away, but at their age now, like I have a teen, you have a teen, it's probably more difficult versus a kid who's maybe like 6 or 7 years old. But nonetheless, it could still happen. But
I get it. I mean, my daughter's almost 18. Yeah.
Yeah, but something about, like you said, Jay, about your daughter, it's just like
there's a spot.
There's a spot. It's nothing that compares to it. Right.
There's nothing. There's just this little spot where your job, your whole world,
your life
is solely to make sure
she's okay.
She is safe.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Concur with you 100% here, Jay.
Yeah, man.
I think the dad is Unfortunately, he probably will get, sentenced to some, lengthy type of sentence because he did kill somebody at the end of the day because, the people have to follow certain sentencing guidelines. But again, I think I would find it very hard for myself to find this guy. Yeah. I mean, within my conscience, it'd be very difficult. Very difficult. Yeah. Very difficult. So I get it. I totally get it. Well, that's it, Jay. That's all I had for Dark Fringe News. I thought it was a great story because, you usually see something like this ending in a very somber note, with somebody dead or you never seeing them again. But, in this particular case, he was able to save his daughter and, he did what he did to the sex trafficker. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you be the judge on that. But nonetheless, I mean, I thought it was a different story for us to discuss here on Dark Fringe Radio. But that brings us right into What the Florida Man, Jay. And for those that don't know, Jay, every week you scour the internet hours and hours on end and look for some of the craziest stories that come out of our state here in the state of Florida, Jay. And of course, I'm sure it doesn't take you that long, but what do you have for us this week for What the F Florida Man?
All right. So details might be a little hazy since the story is pulled up on my phone, which I'm
title of my last sex tape on. The details may be hazy.
I'm pretty sure that's my 20s.
The details may be hazy.
Details may be hazy.
Yeah, you like that, right?
Should be the title of my memoir. Details
there it is. By J.B. Galosi. Oh, Jesus. Okay, go ahead, proceed. I'm sorry.
My fiance's daughter actually asked me about my middle name today for some reason.
Oh, yeah. They don't know about that B name. I think I'm the only one that knows about that B name, huh?
I keep it fairly close to the vest.
I know you do.
Zip it.
Yeah.
Zip it.
Yeah. Hey, that's why I didn't say anything. I said the B word. That's what I said.
Anyway.
But anyways, bearing the lead here. Man. Jay, what do you have for What That Florida Man?
Maybe hazy.
Okay.
Tallahassee man.
No, that's all you had to say. Tallahassee.
Arrested for assaulting a tow truck with his nunchucks.
Okay. I can see that. That sounds like a very Florida story.
But wait, it gets better, William.
It gets better. There's more to it,
because the reason why his car was being towed away was because he was parked somewhere where he shouldn't have been as an Uber Eats driver.
Ah, wow.
So here's the real question, William. Was the tow truck just sitting there waiting for somebody to stop in that spot?
Yeah.
Or was the Uber Eats guy parked there so long that he was getting towed away?
I doubt it. I don't know.
He was beating the truck with nunchucks.
Listen, that could be any Florida person. Listen, I have a neighbor that has nunchucks in their car right now. I don't mean nothing.
In the car.
In the car. Yeah, in the car.
In the car. Listen. In the car that's being towed away.
Listen. At the end of the day, this is how you really have to think about it. You have this person, right? I think it was one of those. Listen, I actually, I don't know if you know this or not, but for 6 months, I actually worked for a person who did repo. So I don't know if you know, this was like 10 plus years ago. This is 10 plus years ago. Anyways, I worked for this guy for like 6 months doing repo work. And we used to fucking just repo cars in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
That's what we did in the hood. So let me tell you this. I could totally see, because I remember when we would go do our thing and go look for the cars that we're supposed to be looking for, there was other tow truck drivers that were just sitting in places looking to fucking tow truck, like just to fucking haul people out of some bullshit. And so the guy that I was riding with was super experienced. And he would tell me like, yeah, those guys are just sitting there to wait for somebody to park somewhere. And 5 minutes later, they're going to fucking tow their car. That's just how they are. You know what I mean? So I do believe there are fucking tow truck drivers that do that. Listen, there are some very honest tow truck drivers that do their business.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
listen,
for sure.
you know, they get contracted by a car company to repo some cars that, you know, people haven't paid on time. I get it. It is what it is. But when you're just that guy just sitting there, just waiting for somebody just to park real quick for 5 minutes in an area that it shouldn't be parking in, man, come on. What do you think? I mean, I don't know. I think that's some bullshit.
My feelings were he was parked where he shouldn't have been because he was where he should not have been.
Yeah.
And he had been not where he should not have been so long that someone called to have his car towed, and then he ran out.
Yeah, but did somebody call, or did they just see his car there and just decided, hey, that's the thing? So you're assuming they called.
That's the question. Well, I was thinking they called, but now you've made me second guess it, William. So kudos to you. Either way, dude's beating a tow truck with nunchucks. Hilarious.
That's fucking great. There's nothing else more Florida than that right there, my friend.
Hi-ya.
Seriously.
Hi-ya.
I mean, what are you going to do with that? Like, seriously.
I do Jeet Kune. Hi-ya.
Yeah. I mean, well, listen, we obviously know who won that fight. It wasn't the fucking nunchuck guy.
Tow truck.
Yeah, it was the tow truck. Definitely.
Tow truck always wins.
Tow truck always wins. Well, listen, Jay, that's a great story for What the Hell Florida Man. I really appreciate that. Thanks for that story. That's going to bring us right into our main story for tonight, which is Zozo. So it's a very interesting topic. So hope you guys stick around and don't go anywhere. We have a lot more coming up.
Hi, I'm Keith Evans. I'm the author of the book, The Hayes House Ghosts Are People Too. I'm on Dark Fringe Radio.
All right, guys. Thanks for sticking around and joining us on another edition of Dark Fringe Radio. Tonight, we have a very interesting topic here, Jay, and we are going to discuss Zozo tonight, Jay. And Zozo is a pretty interesting character in the realm of the paranormal, supernatural, the occult, whatever you may call it. But tonight, characters. Very interesting. And this is something that has been more prolific in the last 20 years, more so than any other time. But there are traces of this entity or entities dating back a couple hundred years as well here, Jay. So let's talk about this here. This Zozo thing, it really started around like 2009, where it really got to the height of its fame, Jay. And it was actually made famous by a guy named Darren Evans. And Darren Evans, he wrote about a very terrifying experience that he had with a Ouija board in that time. And he actually became in contact with the spirit, malevolent spirit, no less, called Zozo. And it really, it quickly, just culminated into a lot of different things that happened in his life from that point on forward. But he came through supposedly on different occasions when him using the Ouija board. He would pretend to be coming, through by different spirits name, and then eventually, alluding to the fact that it was Zozo. So very like a trickster type of character here, Jay. And, I brought this whole thing up to you. I was like, there was a couple of choices that we had for this week's episode. And, I brought this up to you. You chose this. And I was actually kind of surprised that you chose this one because, this particular one, has a lot of ominous, tone to it, because a lot of people have claimed to become in contact with this particular entity. And what did you find out when I told you about this whole thing, and then you started doing your research on your own? What was one of the first things that you found out that kind of surprised you about this whole thing?
So when Will reached out to me and gave me a couple of options, I picked Zozo at complete random.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
More often than not, Will send me ideas, and I've heard of some of them. I'll have to do more research. That's half the fun is me learning all the stuff that I never knew because I was never so woke. Holler. so I chose Zozo, and as I started doing my research, I realized it was. I think it's an interesting topic.
Right.
From what I've gathered, it seems to manifest majorly from the Ouija. I did see where there were some more deeper roots. It said something about it manifesting different ways back then. But the Ouija, obviously big as the 60s, 70s, and 80s were kicking up. And of course, over the last recent few decades, it's really hit this high volume.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I would imagine so. I know it's just supposed to be a silly little game, but for some reason, I believe that those stupid things are portals to other dimensions. I am sure there are other beings in other dimensions that we can't even imagine or perceive of, that when we play with those things, it gives them an ability to contact us that we're not supposed to have with them. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
So it's crazy shit.
No, it is crazy. I mean, Darren Evans talks about this whole encounter that he had on March 24th, 2009, with Zozo, and he would constantly use his Ouija board to contact Zozo. And, the issue started getting like manifesting itself worse and worse over time, Jay. And, it got to the point where he was actually possessed by this demon. He believes that he was possessed by Zozo at one point. So, it really culminates to the fact that, all the way to the point of possession, it's really weird because in a way, like for me, like what you said too, Jay, kind of resonated with me. What you said was that a lot of times we kind of put energy into these things that may not exist at first, but once we put a lot of energy into it and thought and all this stuff into it and constantly trying to contact something that may not be there, but putting that energy out there, you kind of like manifest it in your own way, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you go looking for things, you tend to find them, right?
Yeah,
I was thinking about something kind of like this the other day. I was thinking about like that saying, ignorance is bliss.
Yes.
Would I prefer to be ignorant?
Yeah.
And blissful?
Right.
Or am I just too far gone because I realized that bliss is stupid?
Yeah, listen, being woke isn't like fun.
No.
It's not fun at all. It's the
terrible.
exact opposite of fun. Because if
terrible.
You're ignorant, that's fucking fun. Because you don't know any fucking better.
Oh,
you
it must be wonderfully stupid.
Oh, absolutely. Just like in The Matrix, the movie The Matrix. Right before, what's his name? Cypher took the fucking red pill and he said, ignorance is bliss. Yeah. Remember that?
I do.
Yeah. And there's a reason why I said, because it is. It's true. Ignorance is bliss.
And that's the whole thing. So if you have something like a Ouija board, and again, even if it only gives you what you give it, if you're playing with it, you're giving it enough to where things could go awry, man. Those are things that we don't understand, and we don't understand them for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's on whether you believe it's some form of spiritual religion kind of a thing where it's more magical, it's more demonic, or is it more scientific? Do you believe it's some form of parallel? I tend to think it's more it's more than just one. And
let's talk about that here, Jay. Let's delve into that, those theories here of what is or who is Zozo. Zozo? Yeah, I mean, for what all intents and purposes, Zozo is a demon supposedly. Sometimes stylized as Zozo, like Z, capital Z, little O, capital Z, little O, and a mysterious trickster entity known for stalking people through Ouija boards. Sounds pretty much on board right there. Those who've claimed who made contact with Zozo, who also goes by Zaza or Mama or Oz or Zo or Za or Abacus, say he often shows himself by guiding the planchette into figure 8 formations before frantically zooming back into the fourth between Z and O. And his interactions start off friendly, but then grow malicious, and he's known for cursing at and also threatening contactees, sometimes personally possessing them as well. While he's often wrangled by
terrifying shit.
Yeah, listen, I mean, right there alone,
All terrifying shit.
It's a warning sign right there of like not to like fucking try to contact this thing, right? While often wrangled by Ouija boards, some believe that the saying that his name out loud, just like how we have, can also summon this, from the depths of hell. These believers also claim that the demon has ancient origins after the African or Sumerian nature, depending on who you ask. While those claims cannot be substantiated, they can be also be confusing Zozo with Pazuzu. Pazuzu is also a Mesopotamian wind demon who famously appeared in the Exorcist movies as well. A supernatural entity that was called Zozo was referenced in the 1818 French text La Dictionnaire Infernal. Look at that. The demonological story of the demonological story of a young village girl who claimed that she had been possessed by 3 demons named Mimi, Zozo, and Capulet. So very interesting.
I was thinking it was Ghost of Christmas Past feature.
But no, it's something that you actually mentioned as well, Jay. You said that it may be more than just one entity. It may be more than, it'd be multiple entities here, Jay, that we're dealing with when we're talking about.
Well, I mean, that would make some semblance of sense, you know. He who for now never not be named again by me.
He should not be named.
Because I don't need that smoke.
Yeah.
I have enough shit going on in my life. I'm good.
Yeah, I think we're all good at this point.
Preach.
Yeah.
Preach. So, but for me, it would make sense that it's more like there's multiples, so as those things are happening, as it's being summoned through multiple portals, multiple times over multiple generations, I think it's more like there's a multitude army of them. I know none of that made sense, but it
does make sense because if you think about it in that kind of terms, it's a legion of different demons. Obviously, you know what I mean. Like as you would think in that way. A lot of people refute that story about that French novel, saying that woman was just talking a bunch of nonsense. So some people, believe that the first known textual appearance was technically a non-appearance. Basically, a number of websites and videos cite, in fact, that bolstering its belief in Zozo predicates that the event similarly wheeled itself into existence. So basically saying that since we talk about it, we're basically creating it in our own way. Kind of like a Nightmare on Elm Street, like think about it like a Freddy kind of thing. Yeah, let's bring it there. We're willing this thing. We talk about it. It may not be true, but we put enough energy into it and we create it into existence.
So,
yeah.
All those years ago, back in 4th grade, when we first met, and the first thing I did
10 years old, right?
Was threaten you. Yeah.
Yeah.
True story, friends. That's how we became friends. I threatened him.
Yeah.
Because I'm a special kind of asshole. You've waited all this time to get back at me this way. You pretend to be my best friend.
Listen,
godfather my children, all that kind of thing. Just to now. So what we're talking about is this thing, like almost like fucking Beetlejuice. If you say it, it comes into existence. Yeah. Oh, and then hey, just for a little sprinkle of good times, Jay doesn't need to sleep anymore because what did he do? It's like Freddy Krueger.
I mean, hey, it kind of lends itself into that legendary status. No, I mean, right? That in that way,
Well, yes, but now I can't be blissfully ignorant.
Well, listen, this Darren Evans guy, I mean, he is he became very obsessed with this whole thing, obviously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it obviously kept talking to him. Then he started finding out that other people were having experiences with Zozo as well, all across the world, Jay. This thing has culminated since 2009 all the way to now. I mean, he's still finding people now that are, experiencing, contacting this supposed entity. What's so surprising to me here, Jay, is that there's also a lot of historical significance to this particular entity as well. What I'm talking about that is that because, I touched on a little bit here a while ago where we talked about some of the African and Sumerian backgrounds when it comes to this particular demon. You also see this in mainstream music. What I mean by that is Led Zeppelin, the band. One of the most famous album covers was Zozo. Destiny. Yeah, it was Zozo. You remember that, Jay?
I do.
Yeah. So a lot of people believe that was just another form of Zozo as well.
Wouldn't be surprised.
No, I mean, there's been countless stories of Jimmy Page being involved in the occult and him having a library of occult text and him being highly involved in occult practices and so on and so forth. I think he bought Aleister Crowley's house. He ended up living there.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. No, thank you.
Who the fuck would buy Aleister Crowley's house?
Not me.
I mean, that's like the last guy's house you want to buy, right, Jay?
Yeah. What?
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
There's some bones buried somewhere, right? So, yeah.
Some bones buried everywhere.
Everywhere, right. This is where it gets kind of funny here, Jay, because it goes back into time, and a lot of people talk about the historical nature of this as well. They even talk about, like, in history, how in some texts that they reference Zozo, a demon, in a lot of ancestral texts as well. So it's really interesting, Jay, that how something that was old, maybe forgotten about, came back again, maybe by happenstance or whatever the case may be. But it seems to have made a resurgence back into our,
things like this don't happen generally on accident. So. I mean, I don't want to sound like a kook. I don't want to sound like a crybaby. But I'll stress again, this could be something that operates on a plane so much more advanced than us. Again, maybe it's demonic, maybe it's not. Either way, it seems very able to cause problems along a wide generation gap in a myriad of ways. And my guess is that the Ouija board, again, it allows you to open yourself up, to make yourself vulnerable to it. It's almost like an easy doorway for it to then invite itself into your home.
Yeah, that's interesting when you said that, Jay, because a lot of people don't believe in Ouija boards. But I mean, what's your take on Ouija boards in the overall? I mean, to me, I don't know. I mean, it seems like an instrument to be able to invite things that you shouldn't be inviting. But go ahead.
It's an instrument. It's 100% an instrument. I don't know the historical background of when the Ouija board came to be. I don't know who designed it, who created it. Here's what I know.
Supposedly, it made its own name, Jay.
Because of course it would.
Yeah. Historically speaking, it made its own name, but yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Right there. That's why I never wanted to have one. Okay. Never, ever. Now, oddly enough, friends, anecdotally, oddly enough, when I was a child, I liked to skateboard. I was actually quite a decent skateboarder when I was a young man. And I got this awesome Vision skateboard.
Vision. It was a Vision skateboard, wasn't it?
It was a Vision skateboard.
I remember.
And it had the hand underneath like this.
With the eye in it.
With the eye in it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I remember.
But the whole
Maybe
background
old.
was
I'm not that.
purple. Well,
Yeah.
details may be hazy.
Yes, but then all the letters under it, just like the Ouija board.
It was all Ouija board background, and I was never comfortable. I loved the thing.
Yeah,
I skateboarded on the thing everywhere, but I never did want it just laying around upside down. I always kept it on its wheels.
Yeah. Felt funny about that board, huh?
I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah, I get it, bro. I loved
it. But yeah, I don't want to fuck around with that shit.
You know,
there are a handful of things I knew as a child that I wanted no part of because I've had things, I've seen things, I've felt things. And I know a lot of people who see things, feel things, want to do those things, and they're all like, "Come on in, Ghost, and let's have a sample drink." I'm not that guy.
Meanwhile, you're like, no, stay over there.
No, y'all hang in your corners, took some cold showers, yo.
Right.
Not into the ethereal thing. Preach, no good. Like physical, tactile.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna go sit.
Jay, let me ask you a question. Do you think a lot of this is also not only, of course, putting the energy into it and possibly manifesting it by putting a lot of energy, but social media has such a great power behind it. I mean, it could literally turn a story into a legend. Like, say for instance, like Slender Man, for instance. I mean, Slender Man started off as like a creepypasta, thing, and next thing you know, there's girls killing each other for fucking, Slender Man in the fucking woods and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was
in real life.
That was crazy shit. No, yeah, that was crazy shit. And the fact that girl survived, man. Wow.
That's another thing. I couldn't believe she survived. I thought she was dead.
Talk about a survivor. Anywho.
Yeah.
Good on that one. I'm happy she did. So, but we'll actually take it back for a second, right? You talked about Freddy Krueger.
Right.
So the whole premise of that dream demon, that thing that chases you, that feeds off the fear you give it, so it needs to be known.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if you had the Freddy Krueger and you had people who had nightmare vlogs. Do you imagine how fast Elm Street would spread?
Oh, with social media?
Like wildfire.
Oh, like he'd be killing people within like 2 seconds of each other.
Wildfire.
Just nonstop killing. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Just slay them.
Yeah.
So absolutely. It could be something that back in the prehistoric times, it only had so much energy given to it because there was only so much energy to get.
Right.
But as society has grown, as we become a larger populace, numbers, percentages, maths that I don't want to talk about, lend it just by sheer volume of conversation like you and I are doing now. What the fuck are we doing, William?
Well, listen, I think we're warning people not to obviously summon this thing. I think that's number
people
one.
Don't do a podcast
on the do
this.
Not do list. Do not summon this, obviously, this particular entity. And if you do use a Ouija board, please try to use it as responsibly as possible. What I mean by that is, if you're going to do it, make sure you close whatever portal you're opening up after you're done. That's the number one thing.
Sage and a shaman.
Yeah, but make sure you close that portal. Make sure that before you leave, you're saying, I'm closing this area up to anything that can come through. That right there alone can save a lot. I mean, because leaving that undone just leaves a door open or a window open to just anything that can come through. So, Jay, I mean, as we become more and more, inundated with information and things and stuff like that, we become more in tune and learn about new things and ancient things. I think, like what you said, Jay, too, something that only had such a certain reach before because the knowledge wasn't there. Now people are actually starting to realize these things and then spread that, and then it kind of spreads like wildfire, like you said, Jay. And it can become a real problem. You know what I mean? So listen, all we say here at Dark Fringe Radio is, listen, if you're going to do something, just don't do something like that. I mean, that's just foolish. I mean, and
that is our tagline. here at Dark Fringe Radio. If you're gonna do something like that, just don't.
Just don't.
Do it like that.
At least don't do it in your own home. At least either. I mean,
that's our tagline. I mean, it's so well spoken, William.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do something like that,
yeah,
don't do it like that.
Don't do it like that.
I love you, dude. I love you. I'm sorry.
Hey, listen, that's how it is here.
Like that.
Hey, Dark Fringe Radio, baby.
Like that.
That's how we do it.
You try to shoot it out like it's gonna be that's like real smooth Obama kind of line where you're like,
yeah.
Just Kavasi line.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, if you're gonna do something like that,
just don't do it.
Don't do it like that.
Just don't do it like that. Oh, I just don't know how else to put it there, Jay. I mean, it just boggles my mind that people.
Well put.
Well, listen, it boggles my mind that people don't understand the repercussions of some things that they don't understand they're dealing with.
Well, that's the whole thing. They're blissfully ignorant.
Right. Yeah.
They don't understand.
They go back to that trope. Yeah.
They play with it and it finds its way in because it is smarter than them.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Oh shit, I don't know what to do," and then they're fucked at that point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So crazy. Well, Jay, I mean, I think that's a good wrap up for tonight for Zozo. I think it's a pretty good discussion that we had. Again, I think the overall consensus is here is don't be fucking with shit that you're not supposed to be fucking with. Number one, and if you're gonna do something like that, just don't do it like that.
Don't do it like that. Holy shit, that actually might become a tagline. You know,
that's gonna be a fucking t-shirt. It's gonna be a t-shirt.
I thought details may be hazy would be like the big one.
Details may be hazy. The next title of my next sex tape. But that would be a whole title right there for a t-shirt.
That'd be the whole thing.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna do it like that,
don't do it like that.
Just don't do it like that.
That's it. You can't say it better than that, right?
Can't beat it.
Well, there you go. That's a nice bow on for tonight.
That's the way to punctuate.
That's what it's going to be for tonight. Damn it!
Wow.
Again, everybody, I want to let you know how you can listen to the podcast. Don't forget, go to our website, darkfringeradio.com. Right there, you can get all of our shit. There's no other way you can get our stuff. You can listen to us everywhere podcasts are listened to. So make sure you check us out. Give us a 5-star rating and give us a subscription as well. We really appreciate that. So that's it for me tonight, Jay. Jay, you have anything else for tonight?
No, just don't be playing with shit that you're not supposed to play with, people.
Exactly. Leave that shit alone. Leave it up to the professionals that know what they're doing. Exactly.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
No
Again, great episode tonight, Jay. Thanks so much for coming on Dark Fringe Radio. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining us as well. And we'll see you guys again next week.